it's Vanessa Love, and this is my channel about the mental health field and related topics. There's a lot of stuff going on outside, so you might hear us beeping, the sirens, and the trash that's currently going on. It goes on between like 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. like almost every day. I think they're just like getting rid of everything, like everything inside of a building, like doors, floors, anything they've put up at any point. Yeah, I think they got I think the first things were like all of the things that they put on the wall. But anyway, yeah, there's just noises in the background. And then of course the elevator with the ding. I swear I hear that ding in the middle of my sleep too, where I'm just like, I don't hear it, but then I hear it. So fun. Anyway, besides all that, I wanted to talk about Fashion Week, and I went to 2 shows this time, and I wanted to talk about them. So for everything that I do, I feel like I'm so torn about it, because I just I'm like, oh, I enjoy it, but I also don't. I feel like at some times when I'm at Fashion Week, it feels like I'm participating in something that is like, oh yes, well, the old, money people used to get together and have people just, walk around in clothes, and then whatever ones the missus liked, we just bought off the model, and it's like, okay. This feels very uncomfortable. But there's also like amazing things that continue to happen within Fashion Week that I just think are so cool. I know early on in the year, I believe it was, oh my god, it was not Hugo Boss. Calvin Klein? No, it wasn't Calvin Klein. It was the other one. Ralph Lauren. He, or the company, had rented out Vanderbilt Hall in Grand Central for their, it's like whatever they do for the next season. So it's like, oh, well, in spring they did fall. So for the fall 2004 collection, this time was spring 2025 collection. So like there were a lot of celebrities. It looked very interesting. I did not attend. I just thought it was really cool that they did that. They did not do that this time. So fun times. So as I've said before, you can just attend a Fashion Week show. I know that some of you are probably like, but no, like, yeah, if you have like $1,500, like just, lying around, you could definitely just go to the Vogue fashion show. There were $400 tickets for the fashion show that included SZA, and there was a couple of other ones that were probably just as expensive. I choose not to go to the big ones because I'm just not interested in the fashion lines really all that much. I'm mostly going for the artwork. I love going to these things because it is an art experience. I like the philosophy of clothing and how far away can you get from a shirt in order for it to still be a shirt. I find that endlessly fascinating because that continues to be something I think we see sometimes in the higher fashion, in the, what is it, horticulture, or not, horticulture is something else, but like haute culture, that I just find fascinating. I also find it fascinating when I see designers and it's either like, oh, this is a designer that like is not very well like advertised, but this could be a break for them. So it has kind of, from my experience, diverted from like being only men who are designing, or only like sometimes women designing, sometimes like very skinny models, to the kind of what I've been going to as of late, that are not very high fashion experiences, but sorry, I'm like, why is New Jersey calling me? I'm just gonna let that go to voicemail. But whatchamacallit? That like it's not like I don't want like the high culture sense, because like I just don't, it's not, it's interesting but it's not who I am. I'm more interested, some of the shows that I've been to in the last couple of years, no, I just went to the Rise show. It was the Impact show. They did go over like politics. They're trying, like, Impact as an organization is trying to reduce textile waste, which I think is amazing. I definitely think that we really do have to rethink a lot of what we've been doing. And there's even some clothing that I'm like, I know I've bought and just been like, this feels plasticky and nylon, and like it doesn't breathe. So like I don't want to have it. But it also, unfortunately, it fits right into the Beetlejuice aesthetic, and I'm like, do I even begin to wear this stuff? Like, I liked it at one point, but yeah. See, this is what I mean. I'm like moffing on about it, so many things. So, I've gone to ones that are more high fashion, and I've just been like, oh, okay, so like everyone kind of looks the same, you know, like. I feel like some of those shows do bring in like the kind of gross men who are just like, I just want to watch women walk around, and it's like, I get it, but please, like, that's like very insensitive to what is actually like the experience. I mean, I guess if you need to put it into a male perspective, of course, but like there's better things to do. Like, there's cheerleaders, right? Like you can watch a sporting game where like the whole point of, like, you know, a cheer squad, right, is like cheering, but also look at the nice ladies, right? Nice looking people, because some of the cheer squads have diversified. Very fun. Sorry, like years ago I went to the Washington football team, because it wasn't the Commanders yet, and it was after what it was called, the Washington football team, and the Washington football team entertainment squad was really great. And I think that going that hard into like being that bland was such a good move, so that they could figure out where they were gonna go. Yay. So so I went to two shows. I went to the Rise New York Fashion Week, like NYFW, yes, because there is a Rise New York, which is an actual like immersive experience that I haven't done, but Rise NYFW, different. So I went to their show, and then I went to Confessional. That was a whole lot. I'm sorry that I'm gonna go extra hard on that one. Fun. Okay, so the Rise one, very cool. I went to the 8 p.m. show. I went because an influencer who I follow, who is all about Indigenous people and res life, it was her first time being on the red carpet, or like in a fashion show, before she went to another fashion week. So yay! So very cool. That she wasn't even like advertising that like people should go. She was just like, hey, I got the opportunity, and I was like, so you did say the designer? So I just looked up the designer and found the tickets for that. They were not that expensive. It was very cool. And then I was there for so long, and so nice to the staff that they were like, here's a VIP bag. So I did get a trial of a vegan purple lipstick, which I like once I got home I was so excited for. Very fun. So yay. Anyway, so so that's how I found out about this one. Everyone there was really nice. They had an earlier show with pizza. Wouldn't be able to have any anyway, but with pizza. And they had free cupcakes, and then they had the people who were selling the vegan makeup who were there. They did have a backdrop, which is really great. I got pictures taken. I don't like the way they look. There's just like the shirt was a little awkward, so like there's like a undershirt that like you can kind of see, and I'm like, oh, I didn't expect anyone to actually see the undershirt because it was an undershirt. So like it's not terrible, but it's just not my preferred look, so I don't want to share it. Yeah, it's just one of those things. There's like other pictures that I'm perfectly fine with. This was in the basement of a church. Very cool setting, very elegant, very nice. So usually when you go, if you ever do go, these shows are about an hour long. They usually have like 3 designers. This one went to 5, I believe. They had the 3 designers, the 3 designers, and then they had the like 4 people that collaborated, and then they had like 1 extra one. So I'm like, it was 5. It might have been 6. It was 6 because I remember sitting after the first 3 and was like, what are we doing? The shows usually go later. I've been at one show, and these people were supposed to go on, I think at like 8:30 or 9 maybe, and they were definitely on at 10, and I had to like leave there, find the one place that was open around that area that actually had food, and like before I went home. It was a little bit chaotic with that. And that was one of the ones that had very reasonable like children's children's line. It was very cool. I liked that one because it was just like, oh, these are like just nice pants and a nice shirt, you know, like nothing that was like extreme. I did like that show too because I'm like, that one was called FTM. They're out of Atlanta. It was kind of funny because I'm like, I don't think that they know what FTM is, so like we're just gonna ignore that, not have that. I think they still do some shows in Atlanta. No, I don't know if they've been back to New York since then. I think they've just usually been like Miami or Atlanta. Anyway, so yeah, they had some interesting ones too. They had like a whole skirt that was made out of caution tape, which I thought was cool, and like a couple of other ones like jumpsuits that have like really cool cutouts. So it's like, oh my gosh, I actually like the way this looks. So the Rise NYFW, yeah, so they had 6, I believe. They had a lot of different interesting ones, very cool. So I'm like, now I don't have anyone's name, but one designer, she was a bit older. She, I don't think she sewed. I think a lot of it was drape and kind of like tie, which does have like interesting looks to it. I think most of hers were not most of hers were convertible. It was the indigenous designer who had the convertible ones. So like so the first one with like not sewing, interesting. Like a lot of like big parts of it. There was a piece that I enjoyed, and it was that they deconstructed a wedding dress and added it to like a blazer, but they also cut out the back. So this was for I think an AMAP model or an assigned male at birth model was wearing it. So it was like, if I can say he, because I don't know, it was like he was both the bride and the groom. I liked that little like flair to that. It was very interesting. And most of her work was like big, lots of fabric. It was like sometimes when I like look into the background of a designer, I'll be like, oh, okay, so you went big because when you were younger you didn't get that many clothes, and so like sometimes like so now like you act as if like you have all the fabric that you have ever needed or wanted. Um, Whereas like another designer, she, oh yeah, that one was ancient. I remember. Like, that was ancient. Another designer, I'll have to look up what the name is. Another designer, she upcycled. And in like these really cool ways that, see, this is why I love the philosophy of like art and how far away can you get from a shirt to still have a shirt. Things like that you should be questioning sometimes for yourself, especially during Fashion Week, if you ever attend, is, well, like, what can fabric do? How far can you stretch that fabric and still have, like, a shirt, you know, a sweater, pants, dress, whatever it is. But also, did you ever think that could be used as fabric for the thing, right? If I said, those fancy napkins that like a lot of like it's usually old ladies have around the house, would that make a skirt? Would that make a shirt? You know, could you make something out of that? You'd probably be like, I mean, I could, but like I don't know if I would. Like, that's not like, I mean, it's fabric, but it's not like fabric that you can just like use. And it's like, nope, this creator made a whole dress out of it. She also used a quilt to make both pants and a jacket. So again, if I asked, do you think that a like pants could ever be made out of a quilt? Like, you'd probably be like, I mean, I wouldn't, but like, maybe. She did it. It was very cool. So like, I think when she goes, I want to say her name is like Anne Laura or something like that, or Anne Lori. I think if she does another show, I'd probably go to that one. Her and I had talked, and I was like, oh, this looks exactly like something I did buy because I wanted to encourage her to, like, you know, continue designing and everything. She also used like antique tablecloths, you know, things that like could be textile waste. You know, especially people pass away. These are things that are probably overlooked at some of those like estate sales. You know, sometimes they're just thrown out because it's like no one has the, you know, the want or desire for this, so let's just throw it out. Saving the textile waste. Like, so yeah, there was something that she had in her designs that looked very similar to something that I already owned, so I was trying to be encouraging. But also, like, I feel like some of the things that I've said, I'm like, oh, so people can kind of take that the wrong way. You know, if they're like not on the same level as me, like this could be, like, I'm sure everyone has had this experience where it's like, taken out of context, that sounds very mean, but like, in the context, I'm actually spot on. Things like, the clothing reminded me of if my friends and I were gonna have a sleepover and we were gonna be like, oh, you know, let's like make fashion out of things, you know, and like you find like you find the fancy the fancy napkins that, you know, you have in your house or something, and you're like, oh, if I like pin these together and pin them to my shirt, it's gonna look great. And it's like that. It's like that whimsy, and this like capturing of like, I don't know, maybe girlhood moments. I don't know, my girlhood at least, you know, maybe other girls, maybe other boys, I don't know, maybe I'm like other people in general. I related to it on that level, which I think is, you know, good as far as art. The indigenous pieces were great. I know it was like, I know the person's name is Stephanie, and I'm like, it was like C11 or something, like designs, very cool, with Thunder as like THNDR as the the earrings and the necklaces. Very distinct. And this was the one that had like the convertible pieces, so like each piece had something that like you could kind of tuck under, and then like at certain points either like reveal, like take off in like take off like this, or like let go. Very cool, very transformative, obviously. It was just like a cool experience. I'm glad that I got to go, and this is again why like I like going, because like, can a quilt be a jacket? Like, yes, people have done that in the past, but like also I think she like deconstructed the quilt to make it into the jacket and the pants. Very cool, by the way. Like, very much about it. I do sew, so like all of this is also very fascinating as far as fabrics, use of fabrics, and like upcycling in these interesting ways. So I will hopefully put like maybe the links to some of the people down below. So yeah, like I took video of all of these things, especially like, so you watch the model come out, walk around, and then go back. One of the designers went very far into their design and created a whole atmosphere, which I appreciate. Immersives, me, like we're hand in hand. So it was a very cool experience to have that. And I'm glad that like they were kind of like, if you're going to come into my prom line, I want you to come fully into my world. And it was just a very cool thing. So there was that. Again, just enjoyed generally the vibe. Everyone really nice, wonderful, like low key kind of, but like just a fun time. Just a fun time. Confessionals. Confessionals, as I said, I'm not gonna be nice. I'm not gonna try and hold back. Confessionals was there was a lot of manufacturing in the interest in confessionals. So the reason I went is because one of the times that I went to a fashion show was there was a DJ. He's from Miami. He just happened to connect to someone who organizes these fashion shows, and he has done this a couple of times. I haven't always seen him, but decided to go to Confessional because he was DJing, and I got to see him after the show. We just had a nice fun time, and then I usually don't talk about this type of stuff, but like I did enjoy myself after like just like leaving, because like he was going through whatever he was going through with technically his work, and I was just kind of like, yeah, so I've been here for a couple of hours, I'm gonna head out. So I did. I have a map on my phone of places that I want to see, places that have been advertised to me on Instagram, places that I'm just like, oh, that just sounds interesting, I'm gonna try. And I went around the corner to the Woo Woo and gave them the secret code, and went into a speakeasy, because of course I did. It's one of those other things that I'm like, I've been to a couple of different speakeasies in the city, and I think a couple of them are like gone. But actually no, yeah, the catwalk is definitely gone. It's done. It's out like as of yeah, and I think the bar underneath the stairs might still be there. Yeah. But I think the other places are like they still exist, but like some of them don't. So yeah, speakeasy. It was very cool. It was a Sunday night, so it was just like a nice little like thing before I got the train and went home. So again, not something I usually talk about. It was a very fun code, by the way. I hope that if you're ever in New York, you get to experience any of those things. So Confessional. The show didn't start until 8 o'clock. We were not let in until about 7:15. I don't know if it actually started until about 8:30. Again, they're usually late. This is fine. But I got there at like 5:45 or something like that, maybe 6 o'clock, because it said 6 o'clock. No. That's not what it was. Lots of people on the VIP list. People in line being like, I never pay for anything. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad. Two people who had teenage daughters were connecting about modeling. And saying things like, well, we've lived overseas and, they're just more understanding about taking days off instead of the American, school system. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, they do seem to care about unexcused absences. Maybe education is important. I don't know. So that's always fun. I found them to just, I don't even know, be like, it's just not the crowd that I cared for. And sometimes insulting as well, because it was just like, you guys should talk then. I do care about paying for experiences because all of this does cost something to attend, and if you're not paying for something, then you are receiving free goods, which is like, what did you have to do in order to get those free goods, by the way? Because to have someone else pay for your ticket, and they wanted to, of course, sit in the front row, but they only had an email. They didn't have a QR code like I did, so they didn't even know, and it sounded like it was already just not well organized. And I can tell you that the organizer just wanted a party. Things that I observe. So, yeah, I didn't mind paying for it. That's fine. No one needs to pay for things. No one needs to not pay for things. Things do cost to be produced and organized, and people need to be paid. So this guy had a lot of people on his VIP list. They all showed up very, in a lot of couture. I don't know, it was one of the more flashy shows, and one of the ones that had more of I guess sort of regular models. I don't remember if anyone was plus sized, but it was also badly organized. So I'm like, okay, so fun. So I know that they had a younger kid who did do some modeling of clothes, and that was fun. But I'm just I'm trying to remember who was kind of in it. The issue is that this show was an hour. They were kind of we're different, and they were. I haven't been to a place like that. It was more we're gonna party all night vibes, club lounge vibes. Well, I'm club vibes. It's definitely club vibes. There were performances. There were hey, stick around. There are more designers. There weren't enough distinct designers to they didn't go out one by one, and then go out all together at the end. As I said with the Rise NYFW, you go out, right? There's one that goes out, goes around, one that goes out, goes around, and then at the end everyone comes out, goes around. That's the videos that I took of the Rise one. And the designers come out, and they do their little thing. So, okay, sweet, cool. That's how it goes. I don't know any of these designers. I don't know. To my knowledge, they would have to be different. I know Confessional did they tagged each other and everything. But there were distinct styles. None of the designers came out. Everyone came out. All of the designers. Let's say there were 3 designers. Maybe 4. Let's say there were 4 designers. All of the models came out, had the things on, walked around, And then all of them all together with all of the four, like, of all the four designers came around. It wasn't clear what their path was, first of all. Always fun. There's like little things, and this is me all the time. There's little things, like, oh, you got models. You expected that they knew how to walk, because why wouldn't you know how to walk? And then you didn't like make sure that everyone was on rhythm or understood what was going on. So some people walk too fast, some people walk too slow. You usually have those two people next to each other. Every show has one. And then and some people I know, like it's one of those things where it's like I've been to like 6 shows now, so like every show has had something, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you guys didn't even go over how to do this. There was the Impact show that did like go take the models actually around where they were supposed to be, how they were supposed to stop, what they were supposed to do. It's one of those things where I'm like, yes, that's embarrassing to like have to do in front of other people, because I was like just sitting there like got my seat. But like a lot of places don't do that, and they kind of it messes up the pacing. One of the models yelled at the DJ, so I'm like, well, that was fun to witness at the Confessional show. And then, so again, this is Sunday night. The drinks are drinks, and usual New York prices. And the crowd is self-entitled. I mean, entitled nonetheless. There was one person that I was like, who are you? Because like everyone approached this person and hugged her, and I'm just like, ooh, you know people, you know things. She was also in the VIP section. I did almost fight a woman for my chair, and because I got up real quick to go like get some water and like come right back, and she was like, yeah, so I'm sitting here, and I was like, that's my seat. I'm just waiting for some water. That's my seat. It was a whole thing. Luckily, she knew the organizer, so he found her a nice little spot away from me. And there were plenty of like really good spots in that place anyway. Yeah, there was just like there was a lot. There was like 2 or 3 stories to that, and part of the second story where the DJ was the area to get ready, and then like take everything off for like the designers and the models. So yeah, it was like a really cool experience. It's just not my vibe. I'll probably go to more because of like my friend and everything, but I have a feeling that because of his connections, it's always gonna be that vibe. It's not terrible. It's just, sometimes you don't always want to be around dark places with people who, like the person next to me was there to just network, and then after a while just left because it was like, okay. Some of the things that just in general I've noticed is that a lot of people do feel like that because it's a fashion show that it does have to be like hyped up. You dress down, it's fine. The woman in front of me in the Confessional show had like her hair wasn't done, it was very frizzy, but I'm like, I like to play a game called Secret Millionaire, and I like to kind of like figure out the person if they're a secret millionaire. I've seen this before where someone will have crap shoes, just dirty, they're junk shoes, like wear stained jeans and like a shirt that they've probably had for 10 or 15 years, like just a regular cotton shirt. Like, I'm like, I don't even know. Sometimes they have graphics on them. They've probably gotten them for free. There was someone who showed up one of my offices, and he had a Tesla. I saw him get out of the Tesla, and this is how he was dressed: secret millionaire, or at least secret thousandaire. So like, it was like really interesting, you know. So I'm like, this person's in front row, thick glasses, doesn't look like this is really, like, she looks like she, like, and her, like, husband are probably bikers, and, like, will, like, get on their, I'm guessing Harley after the show, because, like, they don't look like the type that would have, like, a foreign made, bike, sorry. There's different ways, there's different types of people. Harley people definitely have a look. I'm like, do I have to, do you need to talk to me? Like, outside of this, like, how many people did I just upset on accident? But like, she just looked like she was gonna drive off in a Harley. It was like, with either by herself or with her husband, and like go on their way, you know, life, fun times. And she just, like, but she was front row. So I'm like, I think she's a secret millionaire. I think she's either someone's aunt, or someone was like, hey, so you should go to the show. And she came out, and she left early. There was like standing room only. This is why someone was trying to take my seat. And then didn't want to get up. They expected me to move, by the way. Again, the shit. So by like 9:30, I think, or yeah, I think it was over by 9:30. I think I was on the 10:30 train home. Yeah, that makes sense. So like, the manager, the organizer, he wanted a party. He wanted to continue partying. Lots of people were upset by how the actual show went, because it was so, like, slightly disorganized, and we were waiting outside for like an hour and a half before we got let in, and then we sat down for an hour. Like, cool, great. I think you probably, you know, got people interested because we're all standing outside waiting for something, and, you know, the restaurant part was closed, only available to VIPs and everything, so it was kind of like, oh, there's this thing going on, and maybe it's exclusive, and, like, maybe you're not allowed to come in. The tickets were on Eventbrite. Anyway, so he was blocking people from leaving. Luckily, I didn't know him, so I walked away and went to the woo, because I was like, actually, there's a bar around the corner I want to check out. I gotta go. So very fun. So, you know, like, the person to me came across as a little bit of maybe addicted. I don't know, like, you know, I never want to, like, really go out and be like, oh, they were, you know, but, like, it just kind of appeared that way, especially, like, on a Sunday night, you want to party, like, as if, like, I mean, you rented out the club, I guess, but, like, did you not make enough money that night? Like, I don't know. One of the designers also had trouble getting in. All of this was, like, by email, except for me. And I was so mad by the time I had, like, fucking waited out there for an hour and a half, that I was like, no, I'm the idiot that bought a fucking ticket, you know, and was just, like, because the, like, stupid people being like, I'm in VIP. I saw them later, sitting in VIP, because they were so important, obviously. They wouldn't, you know, not be invited and be, you know, not be in VIP, of course. Yeah, and I'm just like, wow, okay. Cool that, like, people, when they're, you know, into things, that they can get into things, like, so easily. One of the ladies did something that was, like, not the best. So networking is very hard, and there's a lot of missteps that you can take. I know someone in Connecticut. I know a couple of people in Connecticut who are called super connectors, you know, in the networking world. Like, if you need anything, you call one of them and you get information. They hit me up sometimes for, like, random things. They'll be like, do you know anyone who, like, writes, like, you know, ESA letters or whatever? oh, okay, yeah, you know, I can hook you up with someone or whatever. Let me see if anyone can do it. Or like, does your person have someone who can just go with that person? Let me know. You know, so like we exchange information sometimes. If you want to kind of know more about networking, I think his podcast and like other stuff is under a guy who knows a guy. So like there's definitely ways to interact with people when you are networking that are it's not always the best. Things like if you are interested in something in particular from someone, ask if they don't mind connecting you to whoever. To teenage models, perfectly fine to say, hey, we're always looking for modeling opportunities. We're in such and such place. You know, we do love being in New York. Are there any like connections that we should make? Perfectly fine. Instead, it was like, well, what group text were you on that you found out about this opportunity? Can we join? Okay, so the reason that you don't want to do that is because when you have when one person has a connection with someone else, you don't have that connection to that other person. So you have to be introduced to people to make the connection. I have definitely, there was a colleague who I had who was also a classmate. She was kind of jerky. Like her and her friends in class would be like, oh my God, I love you so much. Like openly, publicly, on like Instagram, be like, we have to get together so soon. You know, that sometimes it'd just be like, could we, like, could you, like, tone that down? That seems like kind of a private conversation to have of, like, when you might get together. Like, take it off your public, like, profile. Especially if you are advertising your services. Like, maybe you want to keep some of that private. This person worked with kids more often than I do. I do work with, like, 10 and up, but, like, she works with like let's just say like 5 to, you know, 5 and up. So I asked her if like she wanted, you know, this job. Someone liked me, you know, I couldn't do it. Like, did you want, you know, me to give you some information about, do you want me to find out more information for you to apply to this job? She said no. Weeks, months later, she was like, actually, could you give me the information for that person? And I was like, she doesn't know you. She knows me. No, I'm not going to give you the name of some person after you've declined to, like, the job. Like, because it makes it look like you are trying to get a connection forced with someone who knows me. Like, it was so, like, there were already issues between us already, and she had said some things that I just didn't agree with in college, that I hope that she does not share with her clients. Things like, everything was great in my childhood, and it's like, oh no, don't, oh no, you say that wrong to the wrong person. Oh no. So like, and she was always like kind of standoffish with me anyway, so it was just kind of this like, hey, I know you do this, you probably would be a better fit for this. And then it was like, no, but maybe I should, like, you don't need my connection. You don't need my connection. I'm not gonna give it to you. You know, like, that person doesn't know you. You're just gonna reach out? Like, that's not how this is done. And like, all right, so she doesn't know as a therapist how to network, but like, this isn't it, you know? And like, again, there's ways to have connections to other people. Like, if you're going to network, you should network in a way that's like not offensive. It's just one of those things. So yeah, like, and also just like how they instantly became stage moms, and I don't, like, it was just one of those things that I'm just like, and like, I don't know how often like the teenagers were like, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be waiting here, I don't, and I think a lot of that, I mean, I wish it was taken more serious. Like, I wish that they were more validated, you know, but I mean, it's also whatever it is, it is. Now in reflecting on it, I'm like, they did try to get those kids in, like teens in early for pageantry and modeling, and then didn't know some of the things that they should know, like work permits. Fun. Yay. Which, I mean, calls a lot into question, really, but okay. Not my business. I just enjoy going to fashion shows to get away from the office sometimes, and, have some fun. Anyway, I hope that was helpful for you. Yeah, I hope that was helpful for you. I hope that if you ever do go to a fashion week, that you have the utmost fun with it. I'm like excited to hear your experiences. All right, well, I will talk with you soon, and I hope you have a great day, and thanks for liking, subscribing, and sharing these videos. It really does mean a lot to me. Thanks.